Welcome, horror fam, to HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm here with my co-host Duff.
4 days, 3 days, 2 days. When are we releasing this? I don't know. We're close.
And our producer Nico.
Hey, howdy, hey.
On today's show, we'll leave you with our final episode before the start of HHN30 by bringing in some friends from the community to have a good old-fashioned throwdown and an HHN Debate Club.
Throwdown and Debate Club kind of don't.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they
a good old-fashioned
together in my mind.
A good old-fashioned slobber knocker.
So when's Nico going to call it the Thunderdome?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Thunderdome's good. As long as this is
that's
like
that's an HHN or that's an Fright Nights reference there.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, we should have workshopped this enough.
No, I'm okay. Let's just carry on.
Hey, if this is Fight Club, I call being Meatloaf. So I'll be.
I call being the bar of soap.
All right. Well, before we get way too down the rabbit hole, let's introduce our friends that we have gathered. We wish we could have had everyone from the community. We have made so many friends over a short period of time. Unfortunately, our scheduling and my crippling social anxiety just made it so we had to limit it to 4. But Duff, what 4 did we have on for our show today?
Oh yeah, I got you. I'm really excited. Some of these people have been on before, and actually it's 50-50, I believe. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
So first, brand new guest on our show from RIP Tour, we have Ash. How's it going, Ash?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you for having me. First time on here, so I appreciate you having me on. Now, I am like the least confrontational person ever, even in kind of lighthearted situations. So I'm very, very anxious to see how I'm going to get on here.
Ash, I believe you were actually on our shows last year or so. But yeah, this is your first time on our official show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. So welcome back, and and he is here officially representing the RIP Tour, which we have not had anyone from the RIP Tour on the show. This is the first time we've been meaning to, and now Duff, we finally have RIP Tour on the show.
Sorry, I thought you were talking, so I went to get a sip of my zero sugar Baja Blast.
I'm
excited. I'm excited.
I hope you enjoy.
It actually tastes basically like Baja Blast.
It is the better of the diet sodas. Is the Baja Blast zero sugar?
Well, we'll save that for our soda cast. But Duff, who do we have next? What is our next thrown into the ring in our Royal Rumble?
Yeah, definitely. So next, representing a pretty actually great series that I love watching on YouTube, Horror Nights Gauntlet. That's Dakota. How's it going, Dakota?
I was going to do the hey, howdy, hey thing, but I forgot how Nico says it.
I mean, I do appreciate not hearing it more than once a night. I'm going to be honest.
I'm good. I'm slowly working my way into whoring myself out to every Horror Nights podcast. So it's like 3 down, Ash, one of the other guests. I'm coming for you.
Got you. Well, I'm happy we could be added to your body count.
Yeah, it's a short list, but it's been a passionate one.
Well, we're glad that we could be part of it. Duff, who I'm trying to think of another terrible wrestling reference that I could slaughter. Who's next to join us in our Hell in the Cell?
Someone who can probably tell you more about Hell in the Cell than I can. From the Scream Queens, we have Jess.
I absolutely can tell you more about Hell in the Cell. What's up? I am here to be the top heel of this episode.
Oh, you have some competition.
Oh, I know. We'll see. I don't know. I think I'm pretty vicious.
Yes, this is true too. So, I do put my money on you. You're right.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me on again. I appreciate it. I love you guys.
Yeah, of course. Always a pleasure. And then finally, you've heard him on our show approximately 83 times, even though it's episode 68. That's going to be from the Catacombs of Halloween Horror Nights, Disorder, Grim Grinning host, a lot of other shit, Hunter.
It is good to be here tonight, everybody, because not only am I ready to have some hot takes, I know that everybody's out to get me because of the massive shootout house episode we all did together not that long ago, which everybody was on together, every podcast that's represented here. So yeah, besides that, I just wanted to say it's Mountain Dew Voodoo season, y'all. So go get Voodoo number 3. It's the best time of the year.
Is it also sugar-free?
It is not sugar-free.
I don't want it.
Well,
we not Team Midnight?
Midnight's fine, but Voodoo has that nice blue can this year. Grim Reaper. Look, for only $1 a day, if you all send me $3, I will get the Voodoo logo tattooed on my leg, and that's a promise. So,
how many days do we have to send it to you?
You have until the end of the HHN30 season. So just remember, you could help somebody who actually needs it, or you could help me fund a Mountain Dew tattoo. It's up to you.
Just what you
my
need.
AMC profits will go towards that.
Thank you.
All right. Duff, before we get to it, we do have a little bit of news and rumors that we want to get to. Let's get to it so we can get right into the main segment.
So actually I'm going to start with one that'll probably be a tad bit quicker than the alternative. And that's if you go on the Universal app, you can actually see the Halloween Horror Nights mobile game featuring terror trivia. So we kind of knew that was coming. It was all over Twitter. It was on its way. But now it's officially there on the app. And let me just read off the details for you. Interact with the event and relive 30 years of terror with handheld horror packed right inside the app. Kill time in line at our haunted houses and shows and earn points along the way. Play if you dare. #HHN game. Killer features. These include Jack's Scattered Past. Find fragments of Jack's past throughout the park and scan to unlock achievements. Terror Trivia. Race against the clock and other players as you answer questions about Halloween Horror Nights. I'm going to kick all your asses. Production diary. Wow.
Oh, and then you fuck up there. Good job.
Production diaries. Diaries, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Access behind-the-scenes details from the event designers, including photos and exclusive content. So actually, that sounds really cool, too. But yeah, I'm excited for this. That's a lot of different aspects. I believe at 29, and we just had trivia. So definitely expanding on that. I look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I always like the trivia. It's a fun little thing to do to pass the time in the line. It's always a go-to time waster for me.
And then also the other news is that the tribute store opened. Hey, how about that? It started last Thursday where we got TM and AP previews, and then on Friday it opened to the public. I believe everyone in here has been through it now, right?
We have.
No.
I have it.
Yep.
No.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have no self-control, though. I spoiled it for myself.
Oh, okay.
Well,
All right,
that's
cool.
hey, I saw some of the pictures too. I went through it for the first time today, Dakota, and really, I know it sounds cliche, but you really don't get a feel for how it actually looks until you're inside there. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a known spoiler hound, and I still I don't care if I'm surprised or not, but a pictures never live up to an actual experience. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm in Tampa, so it's just not realistic when I'm going to be up there all weekend.
That's fair. We don't really need to go into details either. I just kind of want to hear what we think about it. Do you think it's better than ones we've seen in the past, or is it not live up to what we saw for like HHN Light?
I don't think it was as good as Light, to be honest. I felt there is tons of Easter egg, ton references. It's really for the fans, to be honest. There's no real centerpiece. I know the HHN Light, we had Frankenstein's monster in one room, Jack the other room, then the whole Beetlejuice room. And it had like a centerpiece, if you will. I feel like this one doesn't really have that centerpiece, which there's tons of different Easter eggs everywhere. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, HHN Baron is 2 butt plugs.
Oh my god. No, I feel like the
More than one. Oh, I was just gonna say, double the power.
Oh my god. I'm leaving. No, but I feel like the portrait room is very much the heart of this tribute store, if that makes sense. Like that just feels like the heart of the home, and I love it. It's for the history buffs. I think I said it 1,000 times in our YouTube video. I kept saying history. Um, but last year's was, I feel like they had to overwhelm us with IPs because we didn't get a full event. This year is very much for the diehards.
I think honestly, what we got last year was the original plan, though. Like, I feel like that they would have done that this year, you know, all things considered, because like I feel like the big problem with it this year is all of us here are obviously big HHN people, but the fact that you do not have any IP representation, I feel brings it down quite a bit. Like, we also just had the really great tribute store to the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park franchise, which, regardless of your feelings on Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, that one objectively probably was the best one we've had so far as far as detail and theming. And this comes in and it's great as well. However, it's missing that big, like you just said, Ash, it's missing that big photo op, that big opportunity. Like, you don't have the Beetlejuice snake in the staircase. You don't have Dante's to take a picture in front of. You don't have the Ghostbusters, like, firehouse wall sign. All that stuff I look for, because now you walk in, you go, oh, that's cool, and you snap a picture. I don't have any reason to take a picture with the thing I'm taking a picture of, you know?
And I'm going to hop on everyone else's back and also say, yeah, not as good as HHN Light's version or even Jurassic World. And I think for me, a lot of that comes down to this is great at being a tribute store. It's a tribute to HHN. It does a great job at doing that. I don't feel it has the immersiveness that the rooms, and I think honestly centerpieces play a huge part in that. Mainly the one last year did. I will say we found out a little bit deeper of what the story is of the tribute store today, Hunter and I, and that helped a little bit, but still not to the level where it would come even that close to 2020's version.
Yeah, there is something to be said about this is the tribute store that has the biggest overarching like narrative as you're walking through it, because there are very interesting journal entries from room to room to room that you can go around and read, and little tributes. I feel like this is the store that is going to continue to give, though. Now that we've seen it and we know what to expect, after we have a little bit more time and can just kind of chill out in there and like maybe see certain pieces come together with the actual houses or even scare zones this year, I feel like it will go from, I don't think any of us are disappointed, but right now it's just kind of like, yeah, it's pretty cool, I guess, to, oh, wow, you know what? I really get what they were doing. And I think that's going to depend on if it comes together with the overarching theme of the event.
I hope so.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. All right, Duff, are we ready to get right into our first annual HHN 365 Debate Club?
Absolutely. You want to tell everyone exactly how it's going to work?
Well, sure. We are gonna kind of fly on the seat of our pants a little bit, but we have
what's new?
Come up with a concept. What we're going to do is have somebody volunteer to go first and propose some sort of statement or hot take, and just basically throw it out there as a proposal, and then any of our HHN 365 crew or one of our guests can basically decide, you know what, I want to argue the opposite of whatever that statement is. And they will chime in and be like, yep, I will go. And then those two people are basically going to square up with almost like a very scaled back Lincoln Douglas style LD debate, where the person is going to, the person who proposed will have 30 seconds to basically speak their mind and propose why they think what their statement they said is true. And then the person who agreed to challenge will say their 30 seconds. And then I think we'll allow, if needed, maybe a 10 to 15 second rebuttal, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. We don't want to go back and forth too much like a true LD debate, and in that point I think we'll pass it on to the rest of the panelists to decide who won that debate or argument. And if you win, you get to stay and you get to propose one of your other hot takes. We each came up as three. HHN 365 is going to competing as a team. We each came up as one. for HHN 365, so there wouldn't be too many of these. But and if you end up basically staying for three sessions in a row, you will be declared the first annual HHN 365 Fight Club champion.
Oh, I didn't know this was annual. I'm happy it is now. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, find what works and stick with it.
Well, we'll see if this works.
We haven't found out yet.
We haven't found out yet. We'll see.
And I will add that also, if on the off chance that nobody disagrees with someone's take, one unlucky contestant will be debating against something they agree with.
Yes. No. Yeah.
Right.
I think even if you agree with the statement made, I think in order to get into the ring and be able to stay in the ring and potentially win, you're gonna have to pick something out here. So so choose wisely. Put your name out there, even if it's something that you agree with. You think you can argue against it easily. Go ahead and call out and say, "I'll do it," and whoever calls out first will be the first one who gets the challenge. All right.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
So how about I just peel the Band-Aid off, and I will jump into the ring as HHN 365. This is our debate club, so we might as well go first. And I will throw out here the hottest of the hot takes.
I debate you.
Duff, you cannot debate me. You have to at least pretend to agree.
I definitely don't agree. But
follow the rules, Duff.
I just want to let everyone know I don't agree with this. This wasn't my take.
You're swaying the jury. You should not say that. Duff, I will put you in the penalty box. Don't think I will. I will mute your microphone.
You can't do that.
Nico can.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe I probably can.
I believe you do have privileges to do
Oh, well, I will block you from this server, sir.
But he has privileges to unblock himself. So,
all right. Well, so I'm just going to throw it out there that I think that at HHN 30, Puppet Theater would be better if it was presented as a 3D house. Who wants to challenge me?
I'll challenge you. Why not?
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Hunter has gone into the ring. So, Hunter, while I go ahead and you take a chance to come up with an argument, and I will now have the floor. So,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I want to ask you to first put down your preconceived notions of 3D. That this does not matter here. I want you to. I know that you probably have personal opinions of how 3D has been used in the past, but hear me out here. I think that 3D could be used in the future, and it could be a good tool for developing some some excitement or as a little bit of a change of pace in the house. Yes, 3D in the past has not been utilized well, and that's mostly because they rely on 3D as a crutch. But I think in an element of like puppet theater, 3D is just is almost like just upping the house. It's the content is already there. The details are there. You can still see the details through the 3D. But 3D would just basically add a little bit element of excitement and could make the house just a little bit, add a little bit more of a scariness to it that I think a puppet theater without 3D might be lacking. And also, let's not forget that 3D is a crowd pleaser. 3D houses are popular, and I think this could potentially add another really popular house to HHN 30 by throwing in some 3D.
Well, the 30-second time limit's out the window.
Sorry. Yeah, that's a rough estimate.
Yeah, 30 seconds is going to be hard.
Yeah, well,
No, I would not abide by it either. I'm just saying.
it's not necessarily 30 seconds. It's keep it pithy. Don't go too long. All right.
HHN podcast people that are joining us on this hot take shootout, I have to ask you all, do you see this absolute buffoonery that is before you right now? And by that, I mean, Mike, buddy, what are you talking about? Look, we have had several attempts at 3D houses. Most recently, Lunatic's Playground, which is regarded as one of the worst houses to happen at the event. And I feel like a huge part of that is just that when you do 3D houses, it allows you to use, I'll just shoot straight here, cheaper materials that do not manifest themselves in physical sets. Sure, you can have those characters, you can have elaborate costumes, but oftentimes these sets just become what you would find in your local kid zone, laser tag section, something like that. And I understand, I don't mean to berate anybody's hard work, but the problem is these houses that are done in 3D are often quite a bit cheaper, and I feel like that would be the same fate that would happen with Puppet Theater. Now, this house, you also have the disadvantage of, we have a very good idea of what this house actually is due to the footage that released last year, which announced Puppet Theater as the first house of HHN30. Unfortunately, if you were to transpose that into a 3D house, you would lose all of that. You would lose that really fantastical setting. And for those reasons, I really have to say, no, I do not think this house would be any sort of would receive any sort of benefit from being a 3D house.
Hunter, I respect you, but I have to say that I am just disappointed in the take here. Yes, Lunatic Playground was a terrible 3D house, but that was not what I proposed. I proposed that Puppet Theater has the potential of actually making 3D good. Yes, they have in the past used a 3D to skimp out on props, but that doesn't have to be the case. 3D could potentially almost have a renaissance. We could see 3D houses in the future. If it's utilized here in Puppet Theater, if it is utilized correctly, we could see 3D moving forward years to come.
Do we want that? Sorry.
Oh, Duff, I asked you to drop your preconceived notions about 3D, and I see a biased jury here, and I might have to leave.
Do you have a rebuttal, Hunter, or do you go to?
No, I do have a rebuttal real quick. And the reason I bring up Lunatic's Playground is just not for the strict comparison of Lunatic's Playground to, what Puppet Theater could possibly be underneath this 3D representation, but even going back to everybody's favorite 3D house, the In-Between. That is a house that was done great, but what is the quantifier there? It was great for a 3D house, and Puppet Theater would fall upon the same fate if it was to get the same treatment, and I'm going to stand by that.
All right, and so Jess, Dakota, Ash, you get to vote on who wins.
Hunter wins this one. You lost me at 3D.
The argument did not matter.
See, I've never seen a 3D house, so I don't know if I hate them, but I know that I really agree with what Hunter said about the quality of sets and everything. So I think I have to go with Hunter too. Sorry.
So I want to side with Matt here, or with Mike here. Sorry, but I believe in the potential of 3D, but I don't really believe in the execution. My real question here is why Puppet Theater, and I didn't feel like that was answered for me, so I think I'm going with Hunter.
All right.
Well, Hunter is the winner.
For 3 for that.
All right. Well, Hunter, you now have the floor. Go ahead and pick out which one you would like to propose for challenge.
Sure. So I'm going to start off with, HHN30 is our next big anniversary year. It's something we've all been anticipating. It's something we've all been looking forward to. We've waited a year to get here. And it has me thinking a lot about the previous anniversaries that we've had, from 25 to 20, back to 16, and so on and so forth. I am here with the take that might upset a couple people, but I'm going to stand by it. And that is that HHN 25 is not as good as people hold it up to be. And the reason for that, when we are talking about the event as a whole, we're not talking about Carnage. We're not talking about 25 years of Monsters and Mayhem. Those are components. But as an overall event, I think, unfortunately, the event is quite disappointing. It does have that beautiful, cohesive theme, right? But when you look at some of these houses, an American Werewolf in London, pretty much an exact retread with some upgrades. Freddy versus Jason. People love Jason and they love Freddy, but everybody universally agrees the third act of that maze completely falls flat on its face. Body Collector's Recollections, no complaints there. Asylum in Wonderland, hey, it's a 3D house. People liked it or they didn't like it, but it's not an all-timer. The Walking Dead, we were in the height of the Walking Dead years here. You know, it only came back one more year after this, and this is commonly regarded the worst Walking Dead house. And finally, Run, people love that. However, it's just the fun house. It is a nice place to get away, but you know, this isn't cracking anybody's top 10. Nobody put up with it. And I said finally, because I don't even want to talk about The Purge. The Purge replacing our beloved Scream IP that was supposed to happen that year. And you know, this event, it's my first event. If anybody should have a soft spot for it, it should be me. But the memories of that is just because it is my first year I was attending. I got to see an American Werewolf in London that I missed previous. But overall, I think, unfortunately, the event as a whole does not hold up as well as some of the years that have come since, particularly 28, 29. And I would actually even say 26 is better than 25 overall.
I cannot argue with that because 25 is wildly overrated. I completely agree with you. So I'm out of this one.
All right. Who wants to challenge Hunter? He's actually done his first argument. Who wants to go ahead and go up against with that?
I mean, I know Jess wants to fight Hunter.
But not on this one. It's really not on this one because I'm not gonna lie. Like hot take, agree. Like 25 is great, but it's only great for the nostalgia, and I'm gonna leave it at there.
Hunter, no one's going to want to take you on because you presented your entire argument and it was too good.
Hunter presented a cold take.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. People hold 25 when people are walking around with their lanyards. What do you see? You see the 25 shirt, or excuse me, the 25 lanyard. You see people in their all jacked up T-shirts, and people hold this year to such a high regard. But really, the Bill and Ted, like, it was fine, I guess. 25 years of Monster and Mayhem. That's a great compilation house. But it's just a compilation house. And I don't know why I'm presenting another point when no one is disagreeing with me, but I'm just saying, I think overall, like, I think it's time as a community, we have this conversation.
I agree.
Well, for the sake of the game, I think, Duff, I think you need to throw your hat into the ring. Yeah, I mean, that or Nico.
Oh, I'm the worst one to do this, actually.
Yeah, and I...
Well, okay. I will. I guess I will go.
Welcome back, Mike.
I guess I will go again.
But can somebody be right here? Do we have to argue, or can he be right?
Yeah.
Do I just automatically?
I mean, I feel like I can. I feel like I can argue for 25, but I don't. Perfect. You know, just I guess there's the caveat that I. So people of the jury, as a Horror Nights grandpa, I've seen many of the things, and Halloween Horror Nights 25. It was about a return to nostalgia, and we know people love nostalgia because Ready Player One made a stupid amount of money, and we know people buy into this bullshit. Because people keep telling me and insisting that 25 years of Monsters and Mayhem was a good house when it had not a single original thought in its bones. And people believe that. So clearly there must be some truth to the statement. And, you know, we look at the lineup, we see all of the scare zones are throwbacks to past scare zones or haunted houses. All of the haunted houses even are throwbacks. Even The Purge somehow fits into this anniversary throwback better than what it replaced, which would have been Scream, who had no official representation at the event before. And really, we're looking at an event that that plays to your heartstrings and is excusable for its quality, and where it shines truly shines, and where it stumbles we've largely overlooked because it's forgivable.
Mm-hmm.
And to that I say, in closing, HHN 25 is defined by one alleyway. An alleyway is a little, underselling it, because actually I'm talking about the section known as Hollywood, which has the icons of HHN Zone, and then it ends in the Carnage Returns. And if you want to add it in a little bit, even though it's up the road, Jack Presents. When people talk about 25, that's all they care about, is that little wonky you that you give a participation medal for. The event as a whole, I just really think, unfortunately, pretty much everything that has come since, there is a debate to be said. Objectively, 27 and 25, you can trade blows. But I really think it's time that we knock 25 down a few pegs.
Any rebuttal, Dakota?
I'm going to rebuttal your rebuttal. And, with our icons, once again, these were not just calling back to these characters that are popular to take pictures with. We took a stage show with the Arrival and took it apart and gave it to the masses in little pieces, little bite-sized chunks. You take something, you had concepts like Horrorwood Drive-In in 2009, and we were able to fuse that with All Night Die-In and get a double feature Scare Zone that was both a callback to two completely different things. I think there's subtle genius to the use of Halloween Horror Nights 25.
Well,
If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this Discord.
I will take the mic for HHN 365, and I would give a point to Dakota simply because the Ready Player One comparison was so painfully accurate that it had to win.
All right. The HHN 365 has voted. Jess?
Oh, don't make me pick. God, Dakota, you made a really good point. I'm sorry. I gotta go with Dakota as well, just because the Ready Player One, it really spoke to me, because 25 years was the reason I was like, damn it, I missed 25, even if the house is just a compilation. The event is not great, but that house, I still would have died to go through because I didn't get to experience any of them. So you got me with that.
All right.
And even though it won't matter, Ash.
Well, I mean, I agree with Jess. You did make some good points there, Dakota. But on that note, I am going to side with Hunter on this one. Anniversary, just kind of going back to anniversary years in general, they've just not been that good. Just holistically. So yeah, 25 years for me was pretty overrated. So I'm agreeing with Hunter on this one.
Fair enough. Well,
Thank you.
Dakota, you have one, and the floor is yours.
All right, now take everything nice thing I just said about the Icon Scare Zone and fucking forget it.
All right.
Because my take, people of the jury, is that the use of icons at Halloween Horror Nights needs to evolve or die.
Okay.
I'm sick to. Oh wait, well, I'm sorry. What?
Do we want to?
Yeah, someone has to step up before you present it. Otherwise, we'll get a Hunter situation.
Yeah. Does anyone, just based on the kind of the statement, does anyone want to challenge to that?
I guess I'll go. I guess I'll get it out of the way. I have no idea what's coming, but let's do it.
Go for it, Ash.
Go ahead, Dakota.
Yeah.
Restate your statement. So and then go ahead and do your.
People of the jury. The use of icons at Halloween Horror Nights has been, to say the least, iconic. But we've reached a point where it is becoming stale and repetitive. And you might think I'm talking about icons in terms of just seeing them again. I'm not. What I truly mean is that in every appearance since at least 2004 in Horror Nights Nightmares, to 2006 with the Arrival show, to 2015 with the HHN Icon Scare Zone, these classic, intricate, interesting characters have been reduced to a mere shadow of what they could be. And with that, I think specifically of the storyteller is more than just cutting someone's tongue out with a pair of scissors. The director is more than just electrocuting someone in a bathtub. This caretaker is more than just ripping some guy's heart out. And that is all we have seen. And I'm ready to see these characters evolve, or I'm just frankly tired of seeing them.
I know, what do I do if I agree with all that?
You took it on. You're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, you'll have to figure it out.
I mean, I will. We'll do a rebuttal, right? But I do agree with that, though. I mean, it's just kind of they fall into that trap every single time with just doing their signature kill, and that's it. So
We don't have to agree with you at the end, but if your debate is better, I will give you a point.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of, I mean, we're not going to see the icons in the streets this year, right? They're captured. So I think that's agreeing with him again, though. They are going to be in the maze, not going to be in the street. So we are kind of getting, someone's actually going to have to take over because I just agree with every single thing you just said.
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. I'll take it.
Okay, there you go, Duff. Get in there.
Maybe I'll take over after you, Duff, if you...
Okay, yeah, well, maybe I'll make some points. This will be a team.
Whoa. Didn't we say no tag teams? Jess has been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, what the hell?
Sorry. All right, I'm going in.
Teamed up
Hold on.
with Hunter on a tag team if that was the case.
Hey, whoa.
We would be
came out on stage, I would
unbeatable.
have played my acoustic guitar. It would have been a whole time.
Yeah, we would have been unbeatable. He is the tall person, but I'm still the muscle here.
True.
Oh, that is true.
I'm ready to get muscled.
Fine. Somebody, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. We said no
Thursday
tag
night,
teams.
everybody.
I can go. I'll go here.
Okay.
So let's just say the icons. Let's start from the Sweet 16. You just mentioned it, right? The Arrival show. It showed all there for signature kills on stage. That's when we first got, I guess, an anniversary of those four together, right? So they're always going to go back to those, I guess, signature kills. I don't always agree with it, but for fans, for HHN junkies, for even new people coming to the event, because of social media now, there's so many new fans as well that if you do a brand new kind of take on the icons, they're going to be lost a little bit. So they're always going to go back to what makes them their signature kill. You think of all the commercials and where they've come from now. So that's why they're probably not going to do any. And I'm happy seeing the signature kills through there. I think we are going to get a little something different in the captured maze, but that's why I think I like the signatures, and I think they'll keep on doing it.
Do you have a rebuttal, Dakota?
I do. So here's the thing. The icons have reached a point where, unless you are Jack the Clown, you are not likely to ever host the event again. But the icons are synonymous with Halloween Horror Nights and are talked about every year, not just on major anniversaries. I think it's time that we view these as original Halloween Horror Nights characters who deserve to be revisited, much like the Body Collectors, or much like the Nightingales, or Dead Exposure. It's time to see these characters take on a new life, give them new stories and new sequels. There's no reason that we have it's frankly unacceptable that we have never seen a true director house where he does anything but greets you into a bunch of other movies. We've never even seen a Lady Luck house, or what her world and her casino and all of these things look like. And to just revisit these same scenes again, presumably in the captured house, I think they've said their piece if this is all they have to say.
Yeah, no, I agree with that a little bit. But I'm thinking even now when all the merchandise comes out, you have the director, what's he got in his hand? He's got a video camera. You have the usher. He has either the ticket in his hand or some popcorn. So they're always going to go back to doing that because that is synonymous with the icons. I completely understand what you're saying. Like the usher, he kind of presented a house. Jack at 25 presented a house. All Night Dying, he presented a compilation house. Get it completely. It'd be nice to have a bit of a backstory, but the reason I'm arguing against it is because I think it's just so synonymous. They are, I know I've said it a ton of times, but their signature kills, their signature, I guess their own icons they have with them are just so synonymous that they're going to keep doing it because it works. I mean, there's a reason these icons keep coming back because it works.
All right. Mike, did you want to take the vote for HHN 365 this time?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I think that Ash won the debate.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, underdog, but I think Ash won.
Yeah, I'm with the consenting opinion there.
Oh, I was actually going to say I appreciate the effort, Ash, but I was going to go with Dakota. But that's fine.
two versus one.
That's why I gave it to you. That's why I gave it to you.
If we would have put it to a full vote of the team.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing it. I'm just saying. So Hunter and Jess, where are you at on this one?
Going ahead, Jess.
Okay. I say it 1,000 times. And the reason I didn't want to argue this is because I was going to get, I don't think I was going to be able to vocalize my feelings on this. So I'm going with Ash because I've never seen these icons in person. So they're still new and fresh to me. I'm sorry. So I got to go with the icons. I don't think they're overpushed yet. I think I'll get to my feelings on a certain icon if I get a chance to go.
Well, actually, I'm on Team Dakota with this one because, Ash, I'm so sorry. I think you put up the absolute best fight, but just speaking from a jury perspective, I'm not sure I can agree on the principle of you kept saying, "Oh no, I totally agree with you," and that's my hang up on this one.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, regardless, Ash, phenomenal job because you won and you now have the floor.
Hey, okay, cool. So mine is I'll explain the kind of title of it first, and then someone can kind of challenge. I'll go into a bit more detail like Dakota did. So it's quote unquote fan favorite or tribute / anniversary / compilation mazes are fun and nostalgic, but just not that good.
Yep, I got to sit this one out.
Jess, you want this?
Yeah, I feel like I have to argue this one even if I don't.
Yeah, you got to get up here. Come on.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay, cool. So I know I'm going to HHN30 that I don't know anything what's in these mazes, right? I don't want to spoil it a little bit. I think we all know it's coming, but I'm going to go on say, hey, we don't know nothing about these mazes, right? So I'm favorite tribute anniversary mazes. Let's just talk Jack Presents, HR Blood and Guts, Slaughter. I know people love it, but Slaughter Cinema, Hallowed Past even. Great, sequence to sequence, room to room, good, nostalgic, but they're just not that good. And I am including Slaughter Cinema in that. The reason I'm saying that as well is because we have a couple of kind of throwbacks, some for the fans this year. Legendary Truth, we have Scary, we have the icons. And I'm hoping they just don't fall into the trap maze. So yeah, that is my hot take that they're just not that good. Go ahead, Jess.
Okay. I hear your opinion, and I'm not going to lie, I don't fully disagree with it. But I think you're completely discrediting the fact that these compilation houses are getting these people who are coming for the IPs like Stranger Things, like Beetlejuice this year, like Hill House, and they're getting them interested in the lore and the history that all of us have been so interested in for years. So people go into Jack Presents 25 years. Who the hell is this girl screaming at me from a sarcophagus? Who's this guy with shears? They want to know who these people are, and maybe they'll go and research. Maybe they'll Google, and it'll bring them to one of our shows where we've talked about these compilation houses and these icons and stuff like that. So I don't want to discredit them. I feel like it's completely ruining the history of HHN if we discredit these compilation houses. And Slaughter Cinema is such a fan favorite that you can sit here and say that it wasn't that good to all these people that are listening. I hope you get all the hate comments that are coming for you, Ash. I'm sorry. That is RIP to her on Twitter, guys. Please send them every single hate comment. No, some compilation houses are not great, but they do get people interested in the lore that, we all got interested in at one point or another.
Yeah, so Slaughter Cinema is a little bit... Well, I suppose Slaughter Cinema and Blood and Guts are a little bit different because they are not original.
I didn't even think of Blood and Guts. How dare you? How dare you talk about Larry Kurtzberg like that? Come on.
Hold on. Ash's floor.
Yeah, it was just okay. I mean, we had, you get the B movie poster, then you go through that little bit. You get the TV of the holiday, you go through that little bit. It was just okay. Now, kind of going back to what you said about the anniversary mazes, the tribute stuff, I think kind of using your point against you a little bit is for the fans that really don't know the history or lore and not really getting that much out of it, because what Universal is so good at is taking an original concept from start to finish and just immersing you for the whole experience from start to finish. those compilation mazes. They're just not doing that. They're just throwing everything in there, see what sticks. And I'm just hoping that this year, like I said, they don't fall into that trap of just doing sequence by sequence. Oh, there's 19 Hemingway Lane. Oh, there's the Scolders. I just don't hope they don't fall into that trap there. But yeah, I'm just thinking, just to kind of use your point against you there a little bit, I just don't think you're getting anything out of that. Yeah, I know you said they might go on and Google that, but in that moment, we're getting 3 anniversary kind of tribute, if you will, this year. That's why I'm saying it's not going to be that good.
I hear what you're saying, but it only takes one thing to get someone interested. It takes one piece of anything. And a compilation house, like you said, is going to throw as much shit possible at these people. They're only coming for IPs. They're only coming for certain things, but it only takes one thing to pique their interest. And maybe it is Jack the Clown, even if he's a little overrated and he is everywhere. But it takes one singular thing to get someone interested and become a diehard fan. And I feel like we're completely writing that off here.
Anybody else?
Nope, we can't. So I'll just vote now. 365ers, do you mind if I take this one again as a vote?
Sure,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I defer.
So I thought it was very interesting that, Jess, you basically took the premise of what Ash argued to win last time and kind of took it to this one. And I thought it was really well done. And also, Ash, as soon as you name dropped Slaughter Cinema in vain, I started tuning you out. So Jess wins.
Thank you. Hate comments on Twitter. Let's go. Come on.
It was just not that good. Like it was good. It was, you know what I mean? Or you don't know what I mean?
No, not really. But I do.
Can't relate.
But I don't. All right. Hunter and Dakota, you have votes on this one.
Well, though he completely bodied me out of winning on a topic he agreed with, I do mostly agree with the sentiment, but not necessarily the execution of Ash's argument. I do think, but I do agree with Jess that, and it was valid for even what I was talking about last time, is that these houses, there's a lot of value for the new fans, and I didn't really get into that. But I do think, I still think that we can see evolutions. Jack gets to evolve, and so I don't know. I guess I'm going with Jess.
So here's the thing. I think Jess completely nailed the argument, to be perfectly honest, because compilation houses are something that, while I agree, once again, like Dakota just said, I agree with the sentiment that they haven't always been executed to the best ability, meaning even during 25, it's like, here's 25 great, awesome houses, and they were all from like the last 5 years for the most part in that house. I do agree that house, speaking personally, was hugely influential into me becoming part of the event, joining the hive mind. And I think Jess really stuck up for that. And I'm going to go with Jess.
Oh my God, thank you.
Well, with a queen, I guess that's appropriate. A queen sweep.
Thank you.
Jess has the floor.
Oh, okay. So I feel like I hinted at it, and now I might go against everything I just said, but Jack the Clown is the John Cena of HHN.
I don't even really know what that means. So,
Well,
This pulled the gay out of me. I'm going to be honest.
Nico, I'm going to volunteer you for this one. You're up.
Wait.
You're good at improv. I think you could argue.
I can take the wrestling terms out of this. I totally
go
can.
Go ahead and show your argument.
Okay. So my argument is Jack the Clown. What I'm saying about he's the John Cena of HHN is that he is so over pushed by Universal Orlando. He's everywhere. And I'm not just talking 30. The man shows up every couple years. Every time we need an icon, we can't make a new one or elaborate on any of the stories we've already created. We got to take 10 steps back. So I am going to talk about 30. He left Chance. Are we going to completely forget that story now on 30? So I think he's over pushed. I think he's the top baby face of HHN, and I'm frankly over it. And we need a heel to come in with a steel chair and just knock his ass out.
So what you're saying is that Jack the Clown is, he's pretty much the face of HHN for that.
Yes.
Well, I would argue that Jack is more like a Matt Cardona of AEW. Someone to come in and completely go against the grain while still being a theme park fan favorite, and everybody going with him for that, and can survive pizza cutters getting thrown at him as well.
Oh,
God.
But I mean, but seriously, look, like, who else are you going to put in there? I mean, he's like the fucking Mickey Mouse of, Halloween Horror Nights is Jack the Clown. Even I know who Jack the Clown is for someone who's not part of the event. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because I don't think he's as white bread or as milquetoast as you would say a John Cena is. I think he's more like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, or hell, even a Sting, even. Like a good classic that's always there for you and has that little bit of edge, but you can always go back and trust on it.
Did Nico just turn the wrestling shit against you?
He tried, but I might have a rebuttal for him. So,
I think I'm about to get. I'm
going to tag in for you, Nico, too. For
okay.
It's HHN365's.
I'm about to get taken to school. I know.
No, I don't. I'm not a big AEW fan, so you got me on that AEW reference, but I know who that is. So I think it's funny that you're saying this about Jack when, if I remember, on the HHN365 Icons ranking episode, Jack the Clown was not number one. Who was? Can someone from 365 remind me?
Well,
who was it? Nico?
Oh, she's using our dog.
All right. Well,
Nico?
All right.
Caretaker. Caretaker has a very special place in all of our hearts because we both love watching the fucking Travel Channel.
Yeah, same story over here.
He's up there. He's up there with the trinity of Anthony Bourdain and World Poker Tour. Like, that's where he is with the Travel Channel.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna step in. Jess,
Mike.
I understand what you're saying here, but at the end of the day, our opinions do not matter. The only opinions that matter is the HHN consumer. The old saying, the customer is always right, actually is the customer is always right when it matters. So who are we to say that Jack is overused when he is still selling the most dice? He is still the most popular icon. And while he is still popular, I believe that HHN 365 or HHN and the creative has no reason not to use him when he still has that selling power. If he starts to drop down in the eyes of the general fans, then sure, let's replace him. But he is not. He is still as popular as ever, and I think that that is why Jack being used in HHN30 is fine.
Tag me in real quick.
Okay, tagged in.
I barely spoke on my rebuttal, and you guys have had nothing but rebuttals now.
Hey, sorry. And I'd like to point out that just because he's not our favorite doesn't mean he's not best to be the face of the event.
Correct.
I didn't say that.
Mickey is the face of Disney. Is he anyone's favorite Disney character, really? No, not for the most part. Am I everyone's favorite HHN 365 member? Absolutely not. So that's, there you go.
But he runs our social media, and he is the face of our show.
Did you just find a way to compare yourself to Jack the Clown, Duff? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
So, and that way, everyone should vote for me now because they've completely turned this into a narcissistic rant about how Duff is the greatest.
It was actually self-deprecation, but
I'm
okay,
kidding. No. I don't hate Jack. I just think he is John Cena. He comes around every couple years. He gets overpushed. They sell a bunch of shirts. And then he disappears again for a couple years. When in reality, we have all these amazing backstories and, history things that we've all learned from all these icons that they're not being built up. And Jack also uses the same kills every time. So I don't want to hear about any of the other icons. It's the blender and we got the big ass saw. Like, what else do we have right now? And we know the blender's coming back this year. It's in the jacked up, whatever that thing is called, the cabana. So
are you complaining?
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying your logic is flawed.
All right. I allow that last rebuttal since we went 3 times technically. Voters, go ahead.
I'm done.
Who do you guys think won? HHN 365 or Jess?
If you had asked me this question in like 2008, when it was, Jack showing up in a house in 2004 and Jack showing up for Route Run in 2005 and then showing up for 2006 and then showing up again in 2007. I would absolutely agree with Miss Jessica. But Jack, he may not be I don't know that he's the Mickey Mouse. I don't know if he's even the ghost host, but he's at least the figment of of Universal Studios. And I think he is an iconic, literally, theme park character, and I gotta go with 365.
Yeah.
Ash.
Yeah, I get the point completely, Jess. You know, he is used a lot. I think there is a reason why. Obviously, he's used because he just works. I know originally they were asking fans what what I think scares you the most. Clowns always comes up, and I think even people not affiliated with Horror Nights, I think Clowns just scares people. I think for me, in terms of icons, I think the Usher Rip from the Silver Screen is probably the only ever complete cohesive event in terms of the icon themes, backstory, and he's not overused. But I get it. You know, the thing. I mean, I love it. It's not my favorite event, Rip from the Silver Screen, but it's the most cohesive by far, in my opinion. So, I do prefer other icons, but that for me just works. That's why he comes back all the time. So I'm just gonna have to go with the 365 guys on this one.
Yeah, I'm actually with the 365 guys on this one as well. Just because I think there is something to be said for the presence of Jack that cannot be Jack when you see the face. If we're gonna roll with the Mickey Mouse comparison, right? Jack, when you see Jack, you're like, oh shit, it's Jack again. But then in the parks, you see Jack and you're like, oh my god, it's fucking Jack. And that's exactly what I say when I see Mickey Mouse too. I go, oh my god, it's fucking Jack. So like, it's one of those things that it finds itself and it binds to your soul. And Jess, I know you have the exact same poster of Jack framed in your house.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying I hate him. I'm just saying give someone else or a new guy a chance. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, Jack has the advantage of just being a scary clown, and that's all it is. I really think.
It's okay.
All right. Well, we have more.
Yeah, should we? Nico, do you want to go ahead and do yours? I think it's a perfect
sure.
What next one to go, because you're just basically going to argue the opposite.
So not knowing what your question was going to be, my debate title would be Pumpkin Lord would have been a better host icon this year instead of Jack.
Yeah. Appropriate.
I'm willing to go in on this.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so the reason why Pumpkin Lord would have been a better host icon is mainly if you're someone like me who doesn't really have that much of a emotional connection to it and hasn't really been much and doesn't really care about who the icons are. Personally, I'm not I just am not a big fan of clown. You know, I'm not a big fan of clowns or like horror clowns or anything like that. I'm just not a big fan of it. The only clown I like is Krusty. So that really goes to show you. And he's more Johnny Carson than he is a clown. So it would have been cool to see a Pumpkin Lord, whoever this Pumpkin Lord might be. And I think we got some peeks of it last year when they were filming the commercials. And I know I was getting really excited to see that happen there. But Pumpkin Lore, it would have been cool to see something new for the 30th. Instead of being like, hey, the gang's all back together, it's like, well, why don't we just try telling new stories with some new characters instead of rehashing the whole things that we already know and are nostalgic for. But, you know, it's 2021, and that's what all media is this day. So.
Well,
Dakota.
So I will give you, of course, that, you know, I want new stories for Halloween Horror Nights, but we are, in fact, getting the Pumpkin Lord's haunted house this year. And had the Pumpkin Lord been the icon of, say, HHN28, where pumpkins were the aesthetic of the event, I think this argument would have legs. But for Halloween Horror Nights 30, you know, we're talking about the history, and we're talking about what's come. And, you know, if we were to look back at maybe Halloween Horror Nights 20, it was all about giving us a look into the future, and everything was original. Fear was an original icon. This year, it's about looking back, and I think if we were to take that logic, then Jack is, of course, not just because he's the most marketable icon, but he is the icon with the strongest legs and with the most appearances. And to give him the sort of front-facing position only makes sense because he has led and has I suppose ring-led so many of these events. Who better to lead the show for an anniversary year? And if we are tired of Jack, then we only have to see him once every 5 to 10 years.
Nico, do you mind if I tag in?
Slap.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would just like to point out just how dirty Dakota is playing in this argument. He happens to bring up fear in HHN20 to basically remind you of that negative of what an original icon would be in an NRM. This is just a disgusting play. Pumpkin Lord is not fear. We know, yes, fear was used incorrectly, but that is not what Nico is arguing. We are arguing that Pumpkin Lord has the potential to be a great new icon and could potentially usher in a new icon era with things like Pumpkin Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do we reward repeat offenders or do we convict them? The Pumpkin Lord had a perfectly good opportunity to prove himself as an icon in 2018. He had an opportunity to prove himself in another form in what is the Jesus God? The name escapes me. The doodle on the napkin.
Nathaniel Crow.
Thank you, Nathaniel Crow.
I'm sorry, did you call him before the doodle on a napkin?
Oh, I think we just got fucking burned.
Moy.
And he was shut down in favor of Fear, who still failed to host an event. I don't think we reward repeat offenders. I think we punish them, and I think Jack has proven that he can host an event. He can host an event with a group. Even look at 2006. He was not the main icon. He was one of 4. We know that he can work as a team player. He can work as a leader. He can work as a duo with Chance in a commercial. Jack is a proven success where Mr. Pumpkin Lord is a chance on an offender.
This isn't a full rebuttal. I just like to point out he named characters that were not actually Pumpkin Lord. So carry on with your votes, voters.
Going with Dakota on this one. Yeah. I'm really feeling Dakota's defense here. All he needed to do was pull that shutdown card right in the middle, and yeah, that's about all I can say. Good luck. I got some ice.
Doodle on a napkin was a pretty good.
I am taking Dakota's side too. I'm just not ready for another icon era right now, to be honest. I know we've had plenty of IP eras, but I'm just not ready for an icon era right now.
Well, not that it matters, but I was going with the Pumpkin Boy.
Yeah.
I'm here for an icon era. I missed all the other ones, so.
I'll be real. I actually am really excited about the Pumpkin Lord, but this felt like an argument I could win.
That was very well debated.
It was
very well
It
debated.
was very good.
And Dakota gets I think the award for leaning in most to our silly thing here. So I appreciate Dakota if you're definitely leaning into the ideas of head.
I'm Richard Gere doing the tap dance in Chicago.
I love you. I love you so much.
Well, the floor is now yours.
Okay. I have 2 choices, but I'm thinking. All right. So I know we're keeping it to Halloween Horror Nights 30, and this was an essential component of Halloween Horror Nights 30, until it wasn't. But I still believe that in the wake of the Billie Eilish conundrum and confuddlement, that any style of music can be horror. and it's time to kill rock at Halloween Horror Nights.
Ooh.
I'm not jumping in on this.
I will not argue this one in any way, shape, or form.
I
I'm
like
backing
it.
up.
Yeah.
So kill rock? What do you mean?
So he's basically saying that there's rock is not just the only
music genre
music
for horror.
Oh yeah, I'm backing out of this.
Someone's gotta.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'll do my
Yeah,
best
I
here.
refuse.
I can do.
Yeah.
However, I do have to ask before we start: is this rock in any form at the event, or just being a featured as like?
I was going to say
content?
a featured IP. Rock. Of course, it might fit aesthetically into a thing, but
Sure.
rock musicians getting the. I guess I'll just lead into my fucking.
Yeah,
point.
I can debate with this. Go for it.
Yeah, so my argument really stands, people of the jury, that we have now seen Slash in Hollywood, of course, Rob Zombie on both coasts, Alice Cooper on both coasts, and Black Sabbath in Hollywood. Rock has created a culture of gatekeepers, of angry older men who are not willing to evolve with the times and see the writing on the wall. That new artists and new styles of music, and even other styles of music, pop music, in fact, can in fact lean into horror and can create unique and interesting content and even scary content. And I think not just with Billie Eilish, but with any potential major label top 40, top 10 artist who is creating horror content could feasibly fit this bill in the future.
I would like to position this, and it's more of a case of not in defiance of my opponent here, Dakota, who I care for and appreciate very much. However, it is a case of I do believe that rock has just as much of a placement as any. Yes, unfortunately, rock music has been on the downtrend for quite a while, and I would blame that on a lack of originality, in which case I will say there's wonderful things coming out from the pop world, whether that's Billie Eilish or Kim Petras or whoever you want to have featured at the event. But rock has such a legacy being tied too hard that I think to completely forego that, unfortunately, you would be losing out on some really interesting things. It's become a meme due to the forums. My favorite inside joke, Duff and I laugh about it all the time, is about the Iron Maiden zone and how great Iron Maiden would be. But on that hand, I would say, Sanjay, I hope you're well. Here's the thing. I think Eddie and the imagery of Iron Maiden would make an awesome house or scare zone. And to have that music pumping through a scare zone, man, that really gets me going. And I think it would for a lot of people too. I think it's less of a case of we need to say goodbye to this thing and more of a case of we need to become more accepting of everything altogether.
And to that point, you mentioned Kim Petras, who was going to come up. That it's not just that this genre is old and overused. It's really just that until the space can be made for these other styles, which we seem to agree on, is that what point is there in continuing to appeal to a crowd that is starting to die? And I think it's time we see our Kim Petras, our Billie Eilish, our Lady Gagas and the Weekends. It's time. I want to see two scantily clad women with plastic surgery bandages making out with a severed head. I want to be chased around by red coat clad bandaged men in the street. And until we can live that dream, why return to the past?
And to that, I'm just going to say, once again, these two things can exist in perfect harmony. I would love to see something like a Billie Eilish alongside a Metallica zone or an Iron Maiden zone or something like that. And I understand your desire for more diverse representation and arguably genres that are doing more with the horror than even rock and metal has been doing in recent memory. But I do think there's something to be said with the crowd that I think HHN attracts outside of the youngest. And not even that, but to be frank, until we get get new people in up at entertainment that's not the people that it is. I just don't really foresee that being anything that's happening anytime soon.
God, I know.
Well,
That's the saddest part, right?
Jeez.
I heard an after-hours reference in Dakota's argument, so I'd give him the point. But I believe, Nico, you should probably take this one, as you haven't had a 365 vote yet.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna let Mike tag in.
Okay, I'm going to tag in. Dakota, I really want to give you the point, but the fact that you did not, we have both an Ash and a Nico on the show. The fact that you didn't use Ash Nico, who is like a horror rap weird person in your argument to pander to.
They're welcome too.
Ash and Nico.
Hell is this?
I have to give it to horror.
Bring in Tyler the Creator. Bring in
Oh, yeah.
up
Lil
until
Nas X.
maybe this past year. Bring in Lil Nas X.
We
Bring
could
in.
do a Montero house easily.
I would gladly go to that circle of hell.
Scare Zone would never come back.
Good.
Good.
Can I actually let me reason with my 365 friends real quick?
That was more of a joke.
All right.
I would like to point one thing that turned me
We're
off a little
sidebarring
bit.
here.
That turned me off of Hunter's a little bit is that he kind of closed out with the fans who are coming like this music, so we have to have it. And I
Well-
just didn't love that part of the argument.
Well, I mean, the customer is always right when it comes to taste.
No, the fuck they aren't.
If we can do the Ready Player One argument, then why
Wait, but
doesn't
can
mine
I-
work?
Can I say something really fast on that? If we're only catering to one group of people coming to the event,
Sure.
we're not being inclusive.
That is true.
That is
Boom.
true.
That is
And
true.
you're only catering to the straight white.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's right. Yeah.
And there were plenty of straight white men going to that Primus concert tonight. I'll tell you that.
You
I
had
hate
a
to be the
premise-
woman to pull that card, but here I am.
I almost missed this recording to go to said Primus concert.
Oh my god.
I think 365 should change their vote to help Nico's straight white male guilt.
Okay.
Oh, because I'm the only straight white male on this podcast.
The only one that was going to go to Primus.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, yeah, we can change our vote. My joke was just vote was so. Dakota, you have won us over. You have got our vote.
Hey.
I'm going with Dakota as well. I completely agree. But I've talked about how an Iron Maiden Zoner house would be great on the Scream Queens. I'm pretty sure when you guys came on 365, someone pitched it when it might have been me. But we need to be more inclusive. Billie Eilish was going to open up a lot of doors, and obviously that didn't happen. There is more than just one music genre, and that's coming from someone whose dad only listens to metal and rock. I was raised on all that.
I would like to interject here and say the argument was not the argument was to completely get rid of rock and
I
representation.
realized that
at
was a
8%.
phrasing thing that I couldn't recover
It
from.
was, and what did my argument depend on? My argument depended on being more inclusive while also allowing that option to remain there.
I'm still going with Dakota.
I would have gone with Hunter, but I mean, I'm down 2-1. I think the rock metal just works. It's just the vibe. It just works. So we either go with metal or rock, or one of the two edgy pop that you mentioned. I mean, what do we go with? I mean, I will go with Hunter on this one. It doesn't matter. I'm down 2-1.
All right.
I would
Well-
just like to say that the streets have been synthwave for 2 straight years.
Yep, and no one
And
complained.
And no one has complained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Do you think that's going to work in a maze? Do you think? Kind of
Not synthwaves necessarily. I think it's ultimately this was about hot takes, but in reality, like I actually don't have any issue with rock coming back. I think it needs to take a break until we get to see more of the other options.
Yeah.
I don't think there's room for 2 musicians in a single year of Horror Nights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Was that your final argument?
He already won.
Yeah.
Didn't I already win?
Yeah, I believe so. All right. I don't know. I guess should we give it to Hunter for at least trying to stand up to Dakota?
Are you changing your vote again? Are you doing?
Wait, no.
That's
Give
what-
give him the floor, not my vote.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can do that. Because
Sorry, I was opening my mouth because I thought the case was settled.
I guess Dakota has technically won because he has
Yes.
debated all three of his things.
Did
Right?
I?
Yeah, that's true.
Have you?
Wait, no.
No, he did.
Oh,
He
wait,
debated the
Do you
games
have one
one.
more?
No.
I think Dakota's done 2, right?
Yeah, I've done 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
See,
so he has an
that's.
extra.
I was asking. Why'd you answer for him?
Okay.
I was asking if he had
Dakota
more.
leads he defends against the next person, right?
Yes.
Got it. Or if Dakota wants to, or now I'm tripped up.
What?
What happens
do I-
next?
Dakota has the floor.
Dakota
I have
has
the
the
floor?
floor again.
I have the
Okay.
floor.
Dakota has the floor.
Okay. My argument, lady and gentlemen, is that IPs are. It is time to see the dawn of more IPs that are treated like original houses. Do I continue, or is someone?
I can go against it if nobody
Okay.
wants to.
I was going to say
I'm not-
Poltergeist is like my favorite recent memory. So
I'm not.
go on.
I'm
Yeah.
not very
I
eloquent.
have
but
this
I
one
wanna
on my list, Dakota. So like, I'm gonna let you take this.
Okay.
do it.
And to elaborate, what I mean is, I know everyone immediately thought Poltergeist, Bride of Frankenstein Lives, of course, but so many truly incredible houses have come with a complete unique take on what to do with the IP, as if we've been given an original installment into the series that could only be experienced as a house. You look at Chucky, Friends to the End. Nothing about that was a recreation of a scene from a movie other than just passing a couple of boxes. Everything was a surreal, weird toy experience. Or Nightmare on Elm Street Dreamwalkers used the new story that you're taking a walking hallucinogenic, and sure, it gave you moments from past Nightmare on Elm Street films, but it was presented in the context of an original story. And even The Thing, Assimilation, kind of achieves the same point. If you were to look at rides such as Rise of the Resistance or Flight of Passage, Mission Breakout, or Forbidden Journey, you're always going to choose the new experience over the book report, Voyage of the Little Mermaid. And I really think that it's time to let the creative team take control with some of these IPs and really take us to new places while still treading in the familiar.
Okay, yeah, I think this is an easy one for me. I think you kind of said it yourself. I think Chucky, Friends Till the End, and those 3, Carnival of Carnage, where we had Dreamwalkers, Flesh Wounds, Camp Blood, they had their own original take-ish on an intellectual property, and all those that I just mentioned are just not that good. You think even in the last 5 years we've had Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice, Poltergeist, even like House of a Thousand Corpses, they are just plucked scene by scene from that actual movie. And I understand people want an original take on it, but the reasons these mazes have worked is because people who are hyped for these are fans of that property. They are fans of the movie, the TV show, whatever it may be, and they're plucked scene by scene right out of there. Are they the most scary mazes? Not really, but it is one for the fans. Just walking scene by scene for something you love, just plucked straight out of that. I think that is what works. And I did not get the chance to go through Beetlejuice at HHN Light, and that's what I'm just hoping it's exactly that. I'm hoping it's just picked straight from the movie, because I love that movie. And I think the people who are hyped for these intellectual properties are fans of that for a reason, and they're just going to want it seen recreated in a haunted house.
I think to continue, I still think the ride analogy it helps a lot with establishing this. If you were given a chance to just visit scenes from, I don't know, the current sequel trilogy of Star Wars, or if you were given the chance to board a Star Cruiser and escape and blast your way back to a planet, I feel like most people would honestly lean into nostalgia. But given this unique experience, we're often treated to things that become a new chapter in the story and can still throw back to what we've come to appreciate about it so much. And looking at something like Nightmare on Elm Street Dreamwalkers, we of course have moments of, Freddy eating a person, but then we have these new moments of we have the moments of like walking out and seeing the big what is it, 1408, right? Is that the address?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1408. You coming out of and around that corner and seeing that beautiful facade. You get those heartstrings and those moments pulled, but then you get surprises. And I think that's what I have to say on that.
And I'm going to go off your Star Wars analogy as well. Just even Smuggler's Run, for example, Millennium Falcon. That's everything I wanted it to be because I'm a big Star Wars fan. And it's just plucked straight from the movies, right? It's the biggest hunk of junk in the galaxy. That's why it works. So I wouldn't want them to do an original take on that for me. Then I'd even mention Stranger Things. Just think of that. The first one is pulled just straight from that TV series. We're going through that TV series step by step. And I'm thinking to myself, if they did an original take on this, it could go both ways, right? It could be fantastic, could be down there. But I'm just thinking of this big IP year. I think we've been in a stretch. We've been really lucky the last 5 years where we've been in a stretch that 27 was hit or miss, but we've been in a good stretch here. It's been I'd say the best 5 years there's ever been at Halloween Horror Nights. And I've been going for a long time, but I'm saying it's the best 5-year stretch we've had. Why is that? Because they are plucking IPs straight from that movie, straight from that TV show, and just recreating it for just super fans. An American Horror Story, I didn't mention that as well, just going scene by scene out of that TV series. I just don't think they should mess with big properties that are getting to the event. They shouldn't really mess with those. Just recreate it and give the fans exactly what they want in their intellectual property. That's my argument.
Well, 365, we'll discuss real quick. I'd like to start off by saying I think Ash actually put together a very solid argument. However, so did Dakota, and I also really agree with Dakota's point, so I would go for Dakota.
I agree.
Well, that's a point for HHN365 to Dakota. So, Jess and Hunter, where are you going?
Okay, you both made really good points. Each of you had me at, I'm going to go with Dakota. I'm sorry, Ash. You had me at one point there, but Dakota tugged at my heartstrings. I'm sorry.
I'm actually going with Ash on this one, just because I do think there's something to be said as far as just you can get a little too abstract for people. It depends on the property, right? Because in the case of something like Poltergeist, where everyone was like, oh man, how are you going to do this movie? To do a break halfway through and expand upon that made sense for the property. And sometimes you do have to take a little bit of that risk. However, more times than not, I would rather have a straight representation of what I am going into. And that's why I think American Horror Story was so successful. I think Stranger Things pulled it off very well. I'm hoping Haunting of the Hill House pulls off a lot of those same elements. So yeah, Ash, you're going to get my point here.
Vane.
All right, Ash. I believe you have argued all three of your arguments, and you won 3, right? You
Ash?
I'm sorry, Dakota. You have won 3 arguments. That makes you official winner of the first annual HHN Debate Club.
Just winning all these podcasts.
Yeah.
And I think it was perfect time because I think it's a perfect length. I know we had a couple more to argue. That was perfect before the concept and the kind of started to go a little stale. So it's a perfect time to wrap it up. I hope everyone had fun. I know I had fun.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it was.
This was a ton of fun. Yeah.
I love winning.
I didn't get to.
Well, I was going to comment. Dakota does this day in and day out. I was not surprised at all.
This is his thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, what a winner. However, yes, this was a blast. And honestly, you guys are just everybody here. Some of my favorite people in this little scene that we're doing here. Anytime I can just talk with you guys is a wonderful evening.
No.
Aw.
Thank you.
Are
Absolutely.
we all feeling emotional because the event starts on Friday? Are we getting sappy
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Oh,
So I know we're done, but real quick, I never got to say any point, so I'd like to throw one out just for funsies.
Do it.
Oh.
Everyone throw out their hottest that they didn't get a chance to do.
Ooh,
No, you go
okay.
first.
Just the
All right.
throw it out.
Lights, camera, action. Eddie's Revenge will
I'll
be
fight
the
you right
worst
now.
scare zone at HHN30.
Worst.
Worst.
Yeah. What is the obsession with Eddie? What I don't get it.
So one of mine, this is not the one I'm about to say, but one of mine, legit, Ash, is Eddie is possibly the most overrated icon.
Yeah, it's like a social media thing. What on earth is the Eddie thing? I don't get it. Someone's have to explain.
Jessica's about to
It's
kill
'cause
all
Eddie's
of you.
hot.
No,
Yeah.
no. I'm not. He's not my favorite by any way, shape, or form. So when we did our history episode on him, the headcanon that we all started discussing kind of just like blew up online
Bumped him up, yeah.
in the community, and it's become like this little like community that just are obsessed with Leather Daddy Chainsaw Gang, and we actually have stickers coming out because of it that we'll have at HHN. It's just become like a little inside joke, I guess, with our show. I don't know. I don't fucking know, guys.
Look what you've done. Look
I'm
what you've done.
sorry.
Eddie
Daddy
is like
Kane?
bottom 3 icon for me, if I'm telling the truth.
So
But
we're all
I've
on
come
the
to
same
like
page.
him.
So we're actually calling him an icon, are we?
I'm like turning
Yeah.
around on him.
I love him, like, just for my own selfish reasons because of my show and the headcanon and everything. That's the only reason why Lights, Camera, Action is up there on my hype list. So
I'm glad I didn't bring this one up because we're all on the same page here. Yeah,
Now,
that's a
if
good.
it was lights, camera, action, like Cindy's Revenge, maybe I'd be a little more interested.
Cindy needs to be expanded.
I
upon a
honestly
lot.
don't think
Oh, yeah.
that this scare zone needs any sort of icon association to be
No.
exciting.
Oh, no.
And that's kind of been my
that's-
take on it this whole time.
I will say
Um,
I'm personally more excited since there is an icon representation, honestly, even if I don't think much of Eddie.
In this zone,
I think you put him out there on a big centerpiece in the middle of the street and
Yes.
he's making the calls. He's the director in this zone. That's going to be cool.
I think
I guess
Have
I'm just
you-
like, why isn't it like a reality TV run themed Eddie scare zone?
Mhm.
we don't know that Lights,
Action,
Camera,
the real world.
Action.
I mean, I guess
isn't
we don't
that.
know. I guess we
Yeah, I
don't
guess
know.
we really
We're
don't
assuming
know.
Also,
from what
have you
the zone
seen the
was.
pictures of these casts? Like the past pictures? These Eddies are double cheeked up
Oh,
on
that's-
Thursday
mhm,
afternoon. I am ready for these leather daddies. I'm sorry. Catch me in Lights, Camera, Action every night.
Yeah. That's a good one, Duff. Mine was, I guess my hottest that I didn't get a chance to do is Legendary Truth has kind of just been sort of lame this whole time. I hope they do something cool this year.
Ooh,
Oh,
I mean,
Oh,
Yeah, I would have thought that one.
yeah, no.
Yeah, I think it's got a bit of a lull. I know TJ Manarino's like big exec now, so he's away from it. But I don't know.
They just never, every year, they're like, oh man, we're going to do something cool with this. And then it just disappears in a box. For
I
6
do
more
kind of
years.
agree that, and it's also has an extremely alienating deep lore that's kind of like hard to consume or even like
Mhm.
begin to deep dive into, especially if you were not that like going in 2008 and like on the website, like
Yeah.
really deep in the shit with it.
Yeah, there's stuff you literally have to like watch a video of a random off-season Legendary Truth event to pick up on certain things. So I get that
Mhm.
aspect of it for sure.
anybody else
Okay,
have
so
one
this is
they
gonna
want to throw
fucking
out there?
slap.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. I think mine was Walking Dead is the most influential IP ever in Halloween Horror Nights history.
Oh,
Oh,
I hate it, but I don't
Agreed.
disagree.
yeah, I wouldn't have argued with that.
yeah.
It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Without
Yeah,
The Walking
no.
Dead, we wouldn't have gotten American Horror Story or Stranger Things or any of those.
Mhm.
Beetlejuice.
I have an even hotter take like to pair with that is that The Walking Dead, if it had been at Halloween Horror Nights 30, it would have been a fair move to make.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting, yeah.
It would have been
In
super
any
fast
facet.
online,
I've
though.
argued that a couple of times.
With the term fair, I would agree with you. If you use basically
I want
any,
it, just that it would have been very fair.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If where HHN30 was to highlight like the last 10 years or so, The Walking Dead took up what, like 6 of those years, 5 of those years.
5, yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
it should be represented if that's what HHN30
I mean, it
is
started
representing.
in one of
Yeah.
the worst year. I mean, we went from 21, which is in my opinion, the second best event of all time, 21 to 22, probably the
Yeah.
worst. And it
Yeah.
kind of beefed it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, again, I'd hate every second of it being there again, but it makes sense if it came.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I had one. Pizza fries aren't that great. There are better snacks at the event. Y'all just overhype them.
Hey,
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
true.
That's
That's
true.
Why did we
true.
save all these for the end? These would
I
have been good.
I think
we got
twisted taters
really
are
good
better.
they are suicide, baby.
Even without salt and
More
vinegar this year,
fries.
I'm a little upset. I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna lie.
I'm kind of worried my stock in Twisted Tater is going to decline this year with all the other food options. They
No,
used to
I
be all
think
You'll
reliable,
be
but
fine.
Where's
Yeah.
salt and vinegar? Can I? What? Where's
Yeah, no,
salt
what
and
the
vinegar?
fuck
Yeah,
happened
I-
to salt and vinegar?
It's gone. Which one did they add instead of it? Or
Ghost
did they-
pepper.
That's what it was.
Which, like, I think
Why
I'd
not
like
just
that,
add ghost
but-
pepper?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why not just give us
Add
one
it.
more?
There's
too
no
many
way.
white
think-
people at the event. Too many rock-loving white people.
If we bully them like they bullied about the Ohana noodles, do you think we'll get it back?
Okay,
Let's
we
try it.
bullied them to get Twisted Taters back a couple years
my-
ago.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
fried Oreos came back this year too. I mean, we can
Yeah.
do anything, guys.
They got rid
Alright.
of Twisted Taters in like 2018.
Bring
We
back
literally
the freestyle
bullied them
cup.
to bring it back that year.
The freestyle cup.
Didn't they bring back a freestyle cup?
Yeah.
Well, they did not bring back the unlimited freestyle cup.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
It was the greatest thing that HHN has ever released. I promise you.
Bring back the freestyle cups with the twist tops so I can put it on my bag, please. It's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we just going to be like, just give us HHN 21 and everything you had there again? That's basically what we're willing them to do.
Maybe all of the houses.
Oh, okay. So someone agrees with me that the scare zones were
They were a mixed bag.
a mixed bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had that argument on the show, and Duff
I
acted
think-
like had 5 heads.
Wasn't
Yeah.
one of the 21 zones just like big black walls that you navigated?
Exactly.
The Valley of
Yes,
Death?
two-
or
Yeah,
two
whatever?
of them.
Two of them. Two of
I
them.
didn't. I didn't say
there was
every single
nine
one
names.
was good.
And then there was a third one where it's just a Lady Lux in Sting Alley.
Sting Alley.
But
yeah.
that
With
said-
that ugly fucking mask.
That said, 7 Acid Assault and Grown Evil really like
We're all
kept
very
the
good.
slack in
Thank
such a
you.
good
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
That's
I-
exactly what I
hoping
said on
Seek and
the show.
Destroy pulls a lot from Acid Assault.
I think so too.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so. All right. Well, that just about does it for our show. Hunter, thank you so much for coming on the show. Once again, you're kind of our go-to guy when it comes to these fun, silly concepts for our show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's always a blast being here, and I cannot wait to be on the podcast all season long with Stay and Screamcast, which I do with Duff and now Nico. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great season, and cannot wait to get more of that out. Of course, you can also hear us on the Catacombs of Halloween Horror Nights, which I've had the privilege of taking over for a bit over a year now, and then you can also listen to me on Grim Grinning Hosts, which is a tribute to all things pop culture, but mostly theme parks. And finally, the best place to keep up with me is on Twitter at Diz Vincent Price. That's DIS Vincent Price.
And then Jess, another guest we have on all the time. It's a pleasure to have you back.
Oh, of course. I love coming on. We call you guys our like brother show.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God.
we feel the same way.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of jumped on the scene right around the same time, and I've always felt like very attached to the hip to the Scream Screens.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Friday. I think Duff and I are attached to the hip on Friday. I've heard.
Yeah, sounds like
Yeah.
that. So what's going on? Where can they find you?
So yeah, like you guys said, we are the Scream Queens. I'm one half of it. I have a partner, Cece. We are 2 women, all HHN and horror podcast. We actually just started a YouTube channel. We have our first video up there with a tour of the tribute store. Excuse me. I don't know the URL right now because we can't have a custom one. So just look up the Scream Queens podcast on YouTube. Our Twitter is at Scream Queens 85. That's where you can keep up to date with us. Most often we post on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Those are our episodes. And if you want to follow me, I am at Beetle Jess, and my co-host is at CCTron. And thank you guys for having me.
Perfect. Ash, and thank you so much for coming on the show and to represent the RIP tour on our show.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. You know what? I'm a little bit upset. I thought I had that last debate in the bag, but alas. So I am part of the RIP Tour podcast, and that is our handle at RIP Tour podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and now YouTube. I do this with Tim, Luke, Gary on Twitter. And my personal handle is AshMB13 on Twitter as well. So appreciate you guys. This is a lot of fun. And if it's going to be an annual thing, I'll do want that invite next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Well, we can keep
you
it
earned
going.
your spot. Yeah, you earned your spot.
And then Dakota, thank you as well for joining us tonight and taking the inaugural crown.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you. Yeah. I know I joked at the beginning that I'm just whoring myself out to Horror Nights podcast, but I actually am a huge fan of you guys. Like literally since 2019 Horror Nights season.
Oh, thank you.
So it's actually really special. Like I was really excited whenever you messaged me.
You suffered through some really terrible audio quality, and you're still here, so I appreciate it.
I mean, my show is shot through a potato, so
Duff and I used to cuddle together around a snowball. So
That's adorable.
oh,
I think we might have pictures of those early days. I'll try to find them.
don't let me get a hold of those.
And then, like you mentioned, you do have an awesome show.
Thank you.
I like so much
yeah.
that I actually check out the first day. You know, I like your show if I watch it the day it drops. So what's the info on that?
So my show is called The Horror Nights Gauntlet, but it is on Cathode Coaster, which is just kind of my handle on absolutely everything. And it is, I'm ranking currently 142 Horror Nights houses, which is just all of the Horror Nights houses I've ever done. So it's just really daunting and massive, but it'll be jumping up by 10 by the end of October. And I just posted an episode today, day of recording at least, and I have another one coming this week. It's a hype episode for Horror Nights 30. It should be up like Wednesday the 1st. So yeah, lots of content coming.
Awesome. I look forward to watching that Wednesday the 1st.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh,
And-
I don't know how that is.
And as always, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at HHN365. And you can leave us a voicemail at 407-906-3405. Duff, I don't know about you, but I want our voicemail ringing off the hook on opening day.
Yeah.
I want.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go through a house and you are standing in line for the next one, feel free to go ahead and just give us your a quick little review. Like, hey, I just went through great. Go ahead and shoot us a voicemail, and we'll make a of those, and we'll use them as. So give us your instant reactions on the voicemail, and I will be the one who has to go through them all and compile them and listen to them all. And I am going to
Make Mike's job really hard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then can I mention, Mike and Nico, this is kind of a special thing for us because this is the first time in our nearly now 2 years. We're very close to 2 years of podcasting that this is our last episode before opening night of an event. So
Yeah.
big deal.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say when I made the Google Voice and the voicemail, I think it was right before the pandemic happened, and I thought that let's do an actual voicemail instead of just like sending clips because I wanted to get people's kind of like basically like instant react, like 2 a.m, 3 a.m. if you're out at the bar and you just have a thought of HHN 365, just quickly shoot it to us. We're finally really getting that here, so I want to hear them. So send me your thanks. And Duff, we have a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pike as well.
Very soon.
Yeah, very soon. So keep at it. Like and subscribe. Ring the bell. Did I just drop a hint? Well, and we'll see you in the streets literally this weekend. Come find us.